Hello, hello,
Hi.
dear friend. We are so excited. We are for the second time with Viviane Chauvet with this wonderful theme topic, expanding galactic consciousness and the science of making contact. This is so intriguing, so intriguing. Cecilia, welcome. Viviane, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Thank you, Viviane, for this second chance to open our hearts and open our connection with other beings, with other frequencies. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me back on the Galactic School with all of you. It is a pleasure. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias, merci. Do you want to go, Ceci, with this one?
Yeah, sure. So, well, Viviane is a leading voice in the global spiritual and extraterrestrial community, a dominant figure for bridging interdimensional
Oui,
wisdom with grounded human transformation. As an ascended and Arcturian being in a holographic human form, Viviane is a galactic ambassador between star systems and light councils, guiding humanity's reascension into cosmic sovereignty.
and
She is the founder of the Arcturian University of Universal Consciousness.
And of course, at the end, we will give you the website and everything to be in contact with the university and all the. I would about to say the wonderful job, but it's not a job. The cosmic service you are doing here.
Yes, definitely cosmic service. It's to be of service to the prime creator and then all life and to be of service for sure. Not being in servitude, but being in service. That's very different. So it's a joy to be here with all of you. And thank you for opening your heart, opening your mind, opening your consciousness to understand what more the energy of what making contact is about. And well, this is why I'm on the planet. I'm making contact with you every day. I'm making contact with the ecosystem of the planet. I'm making contact with the animal kingdom, the other beings who coexist with you. I'm making contact every time I walk out of the door and travel the world. So this is another form of making contact. So we re-expanding ourselves to redefine the meaning of that one word, that semantic, overcharged with so many meanings. The word contact. This is we're here to redefine the boundaries of what that means, if it makes sense.
Sure. And I just take a short time to say hi, Damara. Then we have Mexico. Hello, and thank you and saludos.
Mm.
I want to put the title. So we wanted to know about the consciousness, galactic consciousness, and then the second part is about contact because there is so many things ahora now. I mean that of course it's good to address that from a much more profound vision and approach and perspective.
It really is. When we talk about, stepping into galactic consciousness, it's recognizing that the human species is one of many, many species, a part of the multiverses. It's about rediscovering the genetic aspect even of your human template or the DNA aspect, the structure of the DNA that is made up of so many genetic markers that contains a multitude of species. And I know that those concepts have been talked about. This is no longer about talking about it. It's about living it. It's about becoming one with this newfound, rediscovered reality. So it's really much a rediscovery because it's already been there for thousands of years, for eons, even millennia. But we are returning to accepting that new philosophy that first and foremost, you are sentient beings. is surrounded by a multitude of other sentient beings in different forms. So the number one aspect is to disengage from the fear of creating a barrier, the fear of what is looking different from a human being. So anything that is non-humanoid form, the subconscious and the collective consciousness of humanity has been programmed to create a barrier or a non-responding energy. So the empathic aspect of your heart shut down because one, you look at a being that is non-humanoid. Well, this is part of the new philosophy. It is part of the new, I would say, sacred art of energetic communication that stem from the galactic consciousness. It's about inspiring ourselves to recognize that no matter what is the physical form or the non-physical form, it's really recognizing it is a sentient being reaching out to another. So for us, from a nocturne perspective, is about opening the feel of soul vibration resonance, frequency match, and of course, being able to reach out from a higher consciousness to another. It's about recognizing that the quantum holographic aspect of ourselves. Even in these very dense 3D field, you are still a quantum holographic being and you're connected to an intelligent quantum holographic conscious universe. And that consciousness, that intelligence is a form of communication. It's opening the field to ancient language, or what we call the creational language. And creational language, it referred to the very aspect of the prime creator of all there is, source consciousness, language, and everything stems from this. So it's really about redefining our reality, how you perceive yourself, how you are reopening those higher sensory perception. You're stepping into a more multidimensional sensory perception. So it's beyond the touching, the feeling, the hearing, what you see, you believe, what you hear, what you've been feeling through your body, what you're feeling through your mind. So it's about disengaging those more earth-based physical senses and to add their interdimensional counterpart. It is the same phenomenon as the chakra system. Those vortexes of light that coexist along the spine, you have an earth-based connection that also connects you to the conscious living aspect of the planet that you recognize as the word Gaia. Gaia is the conscious aspect of the planet, is the non-physical intelligence of the planet. And when you start to connect to these vortexes of energy, or pure energy known as the chakra system, you start to realize that beyond the main 7 base chakras, you also have the Earth Star chakra right below the knees, connecting to the sole of your feet. And even below the sole of your feet, you also have what's called the Gaia Gateway. That Gaia Gateway is connecting you to that intelligence of the planet as a sentient being. So if you want to practice just there, that's the first level of practicing a more higher energetic form of conscious projection, connecting to another sentient life form or a sentient being. And since Mother Gaia, it's so dear to our hearts, and we live in symbiotic relationship with Gaia, well, it's easier to relate. It's easier to allow your heart center to open, your heart intelligence, and allowing all of your being to really explore through the Gaia Gateway chakra and connecting right in that beautiful, pure intelligence. And then from there, you can move up to the spine and go beyond the gateway of your crown chakra. This is your connectors between the universal part of you and the earth-based aspect of your experience. And when you move beyond the crown chakra into the universal chakra system, the connectors, you start to understand it's almost like a corridor, spirals of light that really connects you to everything everywhere within the quantum holographic field of the universe. So there's a really huge expansion that is taking place, and that allows the first level of recognizing this expanded conscious galactic presence and cosmic and of course universal. So I love to utilize the chakra system as a point of reference where it's easy to tune in, to practice, to feel, to connect again beyond the 7 points, to feel that you are connected to the planet consciousness as much as you are connected on the universal level. So I hope that makes sense so far.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
So you mean the first step for everybody and for me, Earth, 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 because she is a portal and she's the best approach because she's so close to us and so much love and so on. Instead of looking at the sky and here backwards, right?
But it's a good point, Naomi. The thing is that when you're reconnecting through Gaia energy, it starts to first accepting that even though you are an infinite sentient being, holographic, infinite, you also play the role of an earth human. So that connection bring you right in terms of allowing that soul body connection to take place. Because the thing is that making contact, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. You need to understand what is your approach and what is the purpose of this. So when you have a really good connection and you are at peace with this earthly form and your earth human experience, you're reconnecting as a planetary leader. You're stepping into becoming and stepping into what's called an ambassador, a guardian, a steward for the planet. And this is also part of the soul purposes, regardless of how ancient we are. And there's so many diversity of star seed, and we want to reconnect with our galactic family and communities, and it's all interconnecting. We say yes. At the same time, when you are re-establishing your connection, you start to tune in into ancient multidimensional memories. And what it means is that when you have this solid heart based reconnection with the consciousness of this being called the earth, you're really opening up the archives, not only from Mother Gaia crystalline archives of her history, but you're also reopening the pathway to your own soul akashic memory field. So this is a way to establishing different form of contact, even with yourself, on a multidimensional aspect of yourself, and of course understanding what is my soul interconnection, my bond to this planet, which brings you back to feel. Now I remember why I have returned. Now I remember when I chose certain geographic point on the planet to be born into, whether you're in South America, whether you're in Bolivia, Uruguay, whether you are in Nepal, or whether you are in the United States. You start to re-understand what aspect of the Earth grid system and conscious energy through the human collective consciousness that your soul has returned into. So it really release any form of feeling sometime, punished or abandoned or disconnected or stuck in a fear base, or feeling that our conditions or environmental or societal conditions are redefining who we are. We start to release ourselves from these shackles or these limited belief systems that anchor you too much into the polarization of the 3D matrix, and start to understand what is the grid aspect of where I was born, I grew up in, I live today. What is that connection? So utilize through the chakra system, past the sole of your feet. This is where the Gaia gateway chakra is. It's a very well unknown chakra, very little people utilize it, and yet so powerful. Then from there, when you're reestablishing a connection to the planet, understanding that part of your soul purpose and is part of your soul blueprint, then reopening into a galactic conscious connection become much more available, because you're starting to re-establishing yourself in a higher resonance field. Remember, it's all about soul vibration resonance and frequency match. So if you want to communicate with intergalactic being who coexist beyond the time space you're in, you have to really create a more stable conscious frequency match so you can have a point of connection. Otherwise, what happens is like overlapping radio channels or radio signals that may intercept each other, but there's a lack of communality. There's a lack of decoding the language of what this signal means. And all you get is scrambled sound or white noise. And you said, well, I send my thought, I communicate, I go into meditation, I ground myself, I take deep breath, and I ask, but I receive nothing. Well, in reality, you always receive a signal back. You're always receiving a response back to you. But you have to see, are we in the same resonance field? So in reality, am I tuning in to the same radio wavelength so we can start establishing a common language or a common point so we can be in the same space, so to speak. So this is just very basic understanding of the art of making contact, the organic science behind it, and that starts with you. So you have to disengage the control of the 3D instinctual mind that keeps you hooked into more of a survival, fight or flight type of responsiveness and move into a more higher heart intelligence space that you can harmonize your etheric field. You can feel the stability to your internal vortex, harmonizing your internal gateways known as the nervous system, the central nervous system, to feel that you are disengaged from fear-based energy that overwork your adrenals, so no longer in that stress mode frequency, and then the body having a hard time coping with higher frequencies because the body is too busy regulating itself, right? Makes sense. So when you start to really, when you're strong and you feel confident and happy and you have the love and you feel that there's something strong opening to your heart, you're releasing this ancient intelligence, and your heart create pulses or certain octaves that known as the song of the heart. And it's very poetic when you talk about, well, my heart create a song. Yes, it does. It's those octaves of light frequency and impulses and vibration that the heart release. And that energy is also can be designed to harmonize your etheric field, to rebalance your light body, to opening the sacred interface between the heart intelligence and the higher mental faculties. And then through the body system, even through your spinal cord, that energy reharmonize itself and open the field to the cosmic life force energy. So then you are in complete realignment. Now imagining and inviting for a moment, imagine you are inviting an Andromedan being in your space. You want to communicate with your Andromedan star families, or an Acturian, or an angelic being, or a beautiful Pleiadian, or maybe a being from Sirius, whether it's a cat nation, a dog nation, the aquatic beings, the whales, the dolphin, imagining entering into that sacred connection. It can be a council of beings around you. Imagine that energy when you tune in. It changes the complete dynamic of how you're now perceiving yourself in that new reality with those beings. It's consciousness reconnecting to another. There's a soul vibratory realignment taking place. And that creates a unified quantum field to facilitate the dialogue, the exchange. It's not verbal, it's soul energy exchange. It's telepathic thought form exchange. It's the presence of each other that speak a lot louder than any form of 3D linguistic communications. Feel the energy right now. How we transition from explaining, being mental, want to understand, to experiencing it. And when you start to practicing just what we just talked about, you can already feel that when your intention that will follow the pace And the quality of that communication will open a field of experience. It changed the dynamic of how we can shift our mind into being much more in alignment with the truth of our being. So I hope you can feel right now the energy shifting, because there are a lot of beings around me all the time. So as I speak with all of you, I'm also conscious that I have an aspect of me communicating and be in the same resonance field as the other beings, whether it's my star family, whether it's other group we communicate with. You will feel like it's really about consciousness. It's about becoming much more aware of where you are. How are you utilizing this energy within yourself? Whereas the power of your thoughts can lead you to a clear point of intention. And this is part of what we see in the future aspect of the human species evolution, creating a much more strong, intelligent, control, so to speak, aware mental energy, where you are able to project your mental thought forms with precision, with attention, with the matching frequencies, where everything is understood rather than random, or rather than emotional, or rather than to be stressful. So you're shifting out of that old polarized, dualistic way of communicating and returning into that unified quantum field. And it's very natural. Can feel, can you feel a transition already in between? The frequency are already shifting. And this is part of just the essence, the foundation of establishing more conscious, stepping into the sacred art of energetic communication. And that starts every day in your life. How you're communicating, how you're projecting your energy field in a certain way when you feel very, very compressed or very focused on something, whether it's out of worry, whether it's out of concern, out of the unknown for the future. The future already exists with you in the now. It's unfolding on itself. But you have to really feel, how am I projecting my intention through thought forms, emotion, and the matching frequencies? And that will determine greatly of the quality of how the signal or the response, whether it's from another human being, whether it's approaching an animal, whether it's connecting with the consciousness of Gaia, the three nations, the elementals, or whether it's a galactic being. It will change the dynamic of the quality of the response. So it's the receiver and, of course, the transmitter. So the quality of transmitting must match the quality of the receiver. And that's one of the things we see the most, is that there's a lot of transmission, but the quality of how you receive a response is diminished by many factors. I hope that makes sense so far as well.
Yeah, completely, completely. My cat is listening. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
every word. And when you mentioned Sirius and the cats, it just woke up. Oh
oh, what a beautiful
my God,
Syrian
this is so
being.
important. So now I can feel it because you are here. You are the catalyzer, right? But now I feel it. I can remember. It's in my cells, and I can go back by myself. Is that correct? Because everybody's going to ask, but how can I do it alone? Or
Wow.
maintain this the contact actually. Amazing. Rosarios is from Mexico, so beautiful. It's like soft music in the heart.
Mm,
Thank you.
thank you.
And thank you, Munai. Munai means love in Quechua.
Thank you.
So yes, the question is how to maintain that. That I can feel many beings, and I can feel you, and I can feel my cat. I mean, I am in a trance now, but I don't want to lose it.
Okay. So let's redefine a few things, and those are wonderful questions. First, let's release ourselves from the belief system or the ingrained pattern that if I am by myself, or I am in isolation, or what can I do with one person, you make a big difference. So understand that you're no longer in isolation. The earth is no longer isolated or in quarantine in the solar system. And I know that this is part of the wounds and the trauma that the human beings, and
Yes.
even in their body template, in the chromosome, in the DNA level, and even in the subconscious field, have carried, that there was a time where we felt that the earth was disconnected, isolated. Yeah, there's no one answering except maybe from source or God or the supreme creator. So that's part of the release of that reversal of thought system. You can be isolated in the wood by yourself, but think about it for a moment. Or in your apartment at home, you live by yourself, nobody around you to talk to about these topics. Nobody seems to be in the same light-minded state as you are. But if you release yourself from the illusion or the impression that what can I do by myself, and you start to tuning in to the infinity of your being, and to feel through your I am presence, I am pure energy, I am an infinite being. And as you take several deep breaths, tune in to this infinite part of you. As pure energy, I'm a sentient being, and I'm connecting right now with many other heart energy sentient beings. And feel how the planet Gaia herself responds to you, the elementals, the animal kingdom, the aquatic beings. The elementals are assigned to Gaia because each planet has different elementals or different ecosystem. And I start to feel that you are part of this very vibrant, very evolving, intelligent, sentient ecosystem of life that you are an intricate part of. Imagine you're going to expand now into the solar system. Can you feel the other planet's consciousness? Can you feel the consciousness of the intelligence of Mars, for example, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Mercury? Let's expand. Let's acknowledge the other intelligent sentient being in form of planets. And each have their own personality. I can assure you that. They have a very unique expression. Let's talk to the sun consciousness, the solar consciousness. Feel now the solar consciousness. The sun here in the solar system is just an aspect of that solar consciousness. It opens its gateway to you, imagining going inside of that solar consciousness gateway, connecting you to the central sun, the great central sun, and expanding into other star system, binary star system, galaxies, and to feel that we're moving out more and more, and now we're embracing the consciousness of the Milky Way. Billions of stars. Feel each sparkle of light reflecting as your own. You are a fractal of light reflecting into the other billions. And from the Milky Way, let's go to our sister galaxy, into Andromeda. Andromeda welcomes you an open heart. Old soul, welcome. Brothers, sisters, we welcome you. Feel the diversity of Andromedans. There's so many groups there, and even beyond. Just feel for a moment as you are expanding in conscious awareness that I am a sentient being, embracing an earth human experience, and I am in constant vibrating connection with all life. And then from there, just bring your consciousness back to your crown chakra. Let's reintegrate your body, your sacred temple, to feel the connections to your heart again and your solar plexus, to opening your crystalline core of empowerment. This is your gateway to universal connection. And to feel that you are reintegrating now your sacred temple. Call your body, your physical form, your earthly vehicle, your vessel, and to feel that soul body reconnecting. This is a form of sacred communication. To feel the network of your cells, trillions of cells, welcoming you, holding the sparks of billions of stars and other sentient beings' energy, and you're returning all of this in your being. And when you take a deep breath and release and open your eyes, coming back into your environment now, do you still feel that you're by yourself? Now it's communicating. That's another aspect of the sacred organic science of communication. This is tied up to galactic expansion in conscious awareness as a sentient being. You're redefining your paradigm. You're shifting. You become a paradigm shifter. Because when you come back in that energy, and even though the world or the projected world around you may seem the same or feel the same, so it seems, you just brought back with you how many multi layers of conscious presence, energy, frequencies, contact that you brought back, and you can feel through the sole of your feet that you're anchoring those multi-dimensional layers of contact energy and frequencies into the grids of the planet, to the consciousness of Gaia, and ask Gaia to expand that into the human conscious collective field. Imagining the one by yourself, you're just communicating with how many life forms, including the expansion of the grids of the planet, and you just superimpose all that frequency into the field of Gaia, into directly the core of the planet, and it's going to be shifting and connecting with how many more life forms, how many people on the planet, how many souls. So again, we are redefining our time, space, dimension, who we are, how we affect, how we impact, how can I do it, to how can I, when you start to go too deep into the logic mind that wants to grasp all the understanding, all the semantic of interdimensional, holographic, quantum, communication, galactic, when you release the needs to define everything and put a label or put a structure around everything, you start to tune in into the infinite knowledge of the sentient being that you are. Then ask the Andromedan, for example, to show you what it feels like to be one of them. Ask an Acturian to share with you their soul essence. What it feels like to be a Syrian. What it feels like to be a higher fifth dimensional Venusian. They're very heart based. They're not in the mind. They're going to show you. So invite more that energy of what it feels like to be that being, understand them. You know the expression walking in somebody else's shoes. To better understand their journey, well, ask your galactic brothers and sisters, the enlightened ones. Help me to understand your journey so it can help to understand that fragment of myself, that genetic aspect of my being in my DNA as an earth human. And this way, we can start to redefining almost like that trans-dimensional quantum space of communicating with each other. And it's no longer about the semantics or the fancy words, it's about the application behind it. So again, you can feel it. We are taking you on a journey. As we speak, we provide frequency that match the words that we are providing to open the field of experiences. And we prefer the experiential aspect of communicating with you and redefining what's going to be the field of communications and galactic awareness, because it's all interconnected. We're putting all the pieces together and reopening that opportunity open to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can be sitting in a car and still doing that energy. It's no longer about the location. It's no longer about the environment. It's no longer about the 3D conditions. It's about this internal universal aspect of you. Are you ready? I can sit in a very busy airport. So what, imagine me sitting in an airport, buzzing with sound and announcement and children crying and people sneezing and talking. I can be there and I can really tune out of the environment. And the next thing I know, I completely disconnect from the 3D linear field because I'm communicating with my Acturian self and I'm communicating with my Acturian console. And then I come back and I can hear everything seems so loud. I'm sensory overloaded because I just reintegrated myself or my consciousness in a 3D field. When I was in complete communications, I got all the messages. I know what to do. I readjust myself. And sometimes I will tell, okay, I need help to readjust the field here. There's too much distractions. Let's support everybody to elevate. And I can feel it. Oh, there's a unification taking place. There's no more so distortion. Let's come back into that connection with each other. So I hope this is very helpful because it's about redefining how we exist first and foremost as Earth human being. This is your anchor point in this lifetime. This is how you're serving the prime creator source consciousness. This is how you're also supporting your galactic brothers and sisters to redefine how we're going to return with each other. It's a return. It's a unification. 2026 and beyond 2026, it's a time of the great gathering. It's a time to come back with each other. It's a reunion. It's no longer just an application, a theory, or a podcast. It's becoming a living reality. And this is where we see where are moving into. And when you start to master first your own incredible energy, empathic energies, your mind are phenomenal. When you really stop really, how could I say that, miscreating through the lack of understanding and awareness to your mind and to your heart, and you start to step into the realignment of the potential, the raw potential through your emotional field with your higher mental field, and it combined together again. Now you're stepping into co-creation. So we're moving out of miscreation into co-creation. Can you feel the difference here? Can you feel that? I hope that's serving and helping a lot of people right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's take a deep breath to feel the energy. Remember that everything that we share, it's helping you to release the barriers. It's the barrier sometimes of, oh, I know this. I know a lot. We say, okay, great. You've been exploring. Now, how are you going to apply this? How much of this are you going to apply? And from what aspect of yourself? So, what we see oftentimes is people having a great desire to move beyond, to expand in consciousness, to reconnect with the galactic self, understanding the language of the DNA, want to step into their gift, their soul purposes. And remember, this is natural. It's already part of you. It's releasing the barriers that keeps you operating even spiritually in the middle timeline of 3D within a phantom matrix. All this hook around AI technology, complicated. It's feeling very complicated. We need to disengage and release ourselves from all these entanglements and return to the very source. Is I disengage, I release, I surrender myself to the universe, to this higher aspect of myself. I no longer feel the need to control everything. That is very exhausting. And we can feel overall on the planet there's an exhaustion. There's a mental and emotional exhaustion.
Right.
We can feel that. So if everybody on the planet operates from a point of there's a desire, I want to, at the same time I am exhausted, physically, emotionally, mentally, well, then again, it creates a separation. Allow me to rephrase that. It creates barriers in frequencies. So we're still here attempting to communicate, but you're no longer in a receptive mode. You can no longer receive additional higher frequencies. There's no more room, there's no more space to integrate those higher frequencies, which lead to the impression of separation. You feel that, how we're coming to full circle? It leads to that impression, the yes, but. I'm doing that, but. So that BUT word become your barrier. It's what is it that what are that veil that is still there? So the veil that we also seeing that's going to be important shifting in 2026 is the veil between the survival egoic 3D personality mind and the higher aspect of your being coming in and says, allow me to show you. It's about releasing the will of the mind to step into the will of the soul. That's going to be the ultimate frontier, so to speak, the next frontier to really step into in 2026. Because as you step into the willpower of your soul, the soul connects directly from your heart's intelligence. And then there's no more barriers with any beings. You're stepping into that intelligent internal source energy. You're resolving those seemingly barriers that have kept humanity as a species in such an quarantine isolation. There's no more of this. And that's why we feel it's going to be the next level as part of the organic science of communication, not a non-organic technology science of communication, but more a natural, higher organic opening of the communication field. You feel a difference here?
Yeah.
And that's going to be part of the timeline shifting. Those who are very ingrained into more creating from a non-organic technology base versus those of us who are ready to return into embracing our internal self, engaging into galactic, cosmic, universal. You are all of it, not just a portion here or here and there. You are all of this. You're returning into that organic transformation. And that's going to accelerate your evolution considerably because we're stepping into that energy right now. The next 3 years are going to be in pure acceleration for those who are consciously in heart energy ready. I hope that resonates.
Good news. Yes, organic technology. Cecilia, you want to say something?
No, I have just experienced the different frequencies, and most of my mental questions have been answered while you were speaking, Viviane. Basically, with how to do it, I was also thinking about perhaps children who have this ability. When you gave us the example of the airport, of connecting with other frequencies and coming back to this reality, and I was going to ask you how to do it or how to help them, but in a way you answer that in asking for kind of perhaps guidance could be the word, or connection to interconnect perhaps, or come back to this connection.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Cecilia. So when you feel like even, let's say in your day-to-day life, your family members are seemingly, in a different reality, they want to grab you back into that's the same frequency because that's where they feel safe, or they feel that it's the protection, and they feel like this is normal. Remember, embrace them to your heart. Observe people around you and understanding they too are sentient beings. They're playing their role as a 3D Earth human being very seriously. So think of it as the soul very engaged in that portion of their experience, and they may need to continuing their evolution within that 3D field, because that third dimensional matrix reality was designed originally a long time ago as a field of experiences where soul, we are eternal, we are timeless. And I know it can be difficult to grasp or to imagine, but as an infinite being, you come here on this planet within the 3D Earth school of limitation, linear time, physicality with senses. It's very tactile, and you can touch, you can feel, you can eat. So the soul learns from it. I do learn from this experience. In fact, all of my experience here in this field, whether it's from one extreme to another, all the spectrum of experiences I've gone through helps tremendously the advance in the Galactic, the Federation Galactic of World Alliances, and even other council to understand and reassess where human beings are, the challenges we're facing, what is the barriers, what is the help, how would it's on the unconscious field, on the instinctual impulses, whether it's the conscious mind, where is the source of influences, and all of this along the way. You simply have played a role so well and go so deep into this matrix reality that you forgot the most number one essential of all is to realize that you are a sentient being, an infinite being, a part of a very vast, intelligent, perfect creation. There's no distortion in creation. We experiencing distortion in this field here. This is about disengaging ourselves. I no longer need to experience, to learn, or to clear karmic lessons from a sense of polarization, from a sense of being divided, from a sense of creating such opposition, whether it's emotion, whether it's feeling so separated. I no longer need to learn from a duality-based reality. Now it is time to come back into unification. And in case of doubt, release the mind and come back to your heart's intelligence. Return to that center part of you and feel, I need to reconnect with my light. I return to my light. So take deep breaths and bring in, I call upon all the fractal of light. I return and bring all my energy back to my heart, cleansed, purified, healed. I remember that I am already whole, perfect, and in oneness. I'm already whole, perfect, and in oneness. I am already complete. So you're disengaging from these mental projection. It's removing walls of mental separation. And that's going to be individually as much as it's going to be within the holographic human collective consciousness as a species. You're removing those walls of mental and emotional manipulation that simply keep you hooked into perceiving that lower self aspect of you that we call the 3D personality self. This is just an experience. It's, think of it as a costume or a personality. It's an identity that you've been wearing. But the thing is that because of the programming, because of the pushback, because of this negativity of the dark light side, combating through the light and pushback and all of this, what we think is that we step into survival protective mode. What can I do to protect myself? At the same time, what can I do to reconnect with source? I need help. So this is why we said, return to your heart intelligence, invite the universe. I let the universe in to cleanse my 3D mind, purify the energy, the cosmic life force energy. Return to your balance, connect to the Gaian gateway energy. As you are connected in your foundation to Gaia, let the universe in, and then ask for assistance. Now I need clarification, guidance. It is time for me to remember more and more of all that I am. And remember, let the new energy in at the perfect timing as opposed to control timing. So disengaging the mind from, but this is now, I want it now, I want to communicate. Where's the being? Where's the vessels? Where's the mothership coming in? I want it now. This is control timing. Feel I am returning into that perfect synchronized timing. Feel you're returning into a more soul synchronicity rather than 3D logic mind survival synchronicity. That's a huge distinctive here. I know that we know that in theory, we've learned about it. There's many people talking in different ways about it. What we're saying today is we're bringing you back to the very essence of your being. Everything stems from you. When you are coming back into the stem, the very foundation of your being, the doorways of communicating on a galactic level become such accessible to you. We are here. We've been around this world, around the solar system, and in proximity of the solar system for eons. Gaia, the Earth, is covered in historical evidence. It's all there. But again, it can be in front of you, or in front of most people, or in front of humanity, and yet being so unseen, unrecognized. Because how can it be so easy? It's right here. It has to be complicated. That's what the mind dictates, right? I search for it. Where are you? I'm like, we're right in front of you. Can I share something that recently happened? It's so heartwarming. And it's a real life event that took place. So when I started my public service, I've always been of service to the planet for ever since I've been here. But when I started to do my public service, it was my time to be introduced in a collective public way. Okay. I started to teach very complex, beautiful spiritual classes, meditation, providing services locally where I live in Arizona. There was a store in Arizona, a very metaphysical store. There was the hub. It was the place together where many teachers will come. People will come to want to learn, to meditate, to be with each other, to learn whether it's chakra system, healing, telepathic communication, whether it's opening the field. So for 7 years, I was a spiritual teacher at that place. 7 years. And I interacted with a lot of people, including the staff of the place, the center, right? And they could see me, they could smile, but I could tell that they were still unable to see truly who I am as an Acturian ET being. They will feel there's something different about me and they can feel my heart, but that was the extent of their capacity, even after 7 years being with them. And I went back many years later and I reconnected with them. And the first thing when they saw me is they were crying of joy and they asked for my forgiveness. And I said, there's nothing to forgive. Why are you asking for my forgiveness? And the answer I received was, please forgive me for being unable to see you for who you are all these years. That's because at that point there was a heart reawakening, something, a metamorphosis, a high moment, a breakthrough took place within themselves that removed the veil, removed the barrier, removed the distraction of what we think we know, and opened a pathway for them to see me as this beautiful ET being, this ambassador in this hybrid human form. They no longer hooked by my human form. They start to understand who I was. And to see that opening, I knew that there's this great seed of hope for human beings. This is where you are now moving forward. I'm going to continue to be with you. We're going to continue to show you the pathway and helping you remembering fully your capacity to communicate with us as we have been communicating with you. It's a grand return. It's a reunion. It's a gathering. We are returning with each other. This is part of the energies of 2026 and beyond 2026. So thank you so much today for having us.
Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful. Can I put the website so people can know you have a lot of information here?
Yes.
Acturianuniversity.com, and the other one, infinitehealingfromthestars.com, and you will find everything here.
Thank you.
Do you want to share the beautiful news about Nepal, or it's too early?
Was it a question for me or for
Yes,
Cecilia?
for you.
Can you please
About your
repeat?
trip to Nepal.
Yes. So we're going. This is for the members of my Acturian University. So it's part of our annual retreat. I've been feeling the calling of going to Nepal. Actually, it's Master Buddha, because I do communicate with also Ascended Masters, and Buddha has been around me for a long time. And once in a while, Buddha will come to remind me of essential teaching, essential reminders along the way. And so Buddha has been coming over the last few months, and one of our members had a connection in Nepal. And so after months of preparation, we finally been able to bring a very small group of members from the Acturian University. We're going to Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha, to communicate and commune also with Buddhist monk and monastery. And we want to work with uplifting the grid system of Nepal and India. We're here to be of service. We need to reharmonize those two grid systems are very important within the new morphogenetic field of the planet. We're going to be doing a lot of activations to bring in the new system to opening the galactic awareness and reopening the field of communication and among many other things and whatever instructions or guidance or task then I'm going to be assigned. And however, the good news is that we're going to live stream some aspect of the retreat there in Nepal. So anyone wants to sign up for the live stream, then you can. That is open to the public. But the group, we already have a group of members from the Oxford University who are going to be traveling with each other and then expanding the heart of Gaia, the heart of the creator right into Nepal and India as we're opening the field and in the presence of Buddha and many other beings. So they're very excited to do that. It's going to be in March 15th to the 22nd of 2026. As I mentioned, the live stream will be available so anyone around the world can register for the live stream and feel. It's going to be an opportunity to practicing the art of projecting your light body consciousness and to be within the energy of the monastery, within the grids, with the galactic beings, with the ascended masters, with many star seed, and of course ancient, beautiful soul and like-minded people like yourself. And it's an opportunity to really move beyond those walls of mental 3D limitation and to feel through your heart center how you can project your light body and be there and experience with us this very deep sacred soul pilgrim journey we're about to take on in March. So thank you for asking about
Wow,
our journey there. Yes.
amazing. I just want to thank a couple of people because you have to know too, beautiful and privileged to witness this extraordinary interview with Viviane. This
Thank
all of us, and for you, thank you for the info. And I've never felt this different and wonderful connection. I can't stop crying and smiling. Thank you, gracias, gracias, gracias. Here from Chile, Soledad. And of course, they ask if it's going to be translated to Spanish. Sí, va a ser traducido al español después. Beautiful, Munay, Ceres,
you.
Ciro,
Yes.
and Rosario. Thank you so much. We know who you are. I have to say so grateful to share this time with you. All of
Thank
you
you.
today, and so on. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And
Always a pleasure.
not an interview. I think it's in English they say show. It's not a show. It's an initiation. It's very sacred. It's very profound. And thank you so much.
You are most welcome. This is what we are here for. We are of service to so many beautiful ancient souls. Thank you for your gifts, your uniqueness, opening your door. Muchas gracias. And I really, so many blessings to everybody around the world. Trust yourself. Return to the true living, the truth of living, and you'll see everything is opening and becoming so much more accessible. That's the good news. So thank you so much again. Again, muchas gracias to everyone. And I think que todos vaya bien. ¿Sí?
Sí, todo vaya bien.
Que todo
Que todos
vaya
vaya bien. Sí.
Gracias,
All right. Well,
Cecilia. Gracias, team.
Thank you.
thank you so much again. Thank you. We'll see.
See you. Thank you.